Never get tired of managing life in a planner, and the Structured Daily Planner app is definitely beyond exception because it gives you a ton of templates as if you've saved everything that you do on schedule and projects and inbox, whatever that you are doing, whatever's going on in your life. That's what makes time blocking when necessary, when getting your week going, when getting your day going. That's what makes it actually kind of very fun, creative life design and purposeful. And it gives you a ton of time estimations. And so when you go into a new blank task, you're not going to see necessarily always maybe when you first get the planner app set up, you're not going to always see a blank screen. You can have a blank task and start completely fresh with something new, or you can see within your keyboard, above your keyboard, that you can tap a template prompt into the task. So the AI is integrating into tasks as well if you like to time block manually or manually add things that are going on, whether it is on a schedule or a project or an inbox, and or even a day theme all day. So that is what makes the Structured Daily Planner app so much fun to manage life, organize life without the over managing, but manage what is important to you and keep the rest. So you are managing your life and what you can control and yourself, but you are designing, and it kind of transforms into design for managing your life. It's really cool. So once you've used it for a while, you will start to see these things populate and you will start to understand what makes it unique in that way. You're not doing anything really repetitive. It is noticing what you do in your life with your permissions and settings, of course. And then it will suggest things that you might do on a regular basis or things you might want to check up on a regular basis within these tasks. And it's really kind of cool, especially when it suggests that you answer your emails, something that can affect what I'm doing in person and virtually. If I forget to answer my emails, for instance, that is definitely one that comes by default because they do suggest things by default to you. Now, if you have your own planner that's very custom, you can delete these suggested tasks like meals and sleep. It recommends these things that you track them in some way with your health. I do that more with day theming and what's going on that day, and time batching and what's going on with life. So I am using time as an awareness, but I'm not trying to control time. So that's how Structured makes it really fun to kind of get your day out there. And then, of course, if your day screws up or changes, you can delete everything. All you have to do is ask Structured AI, clear my day. Fuck it. The day is not going at all the way I need it to go. It's changed. Something's happened. Something needs to happen. This day needs to be about something completely different. We need to X this day and have a complete standstill day for any kind of reason. And that's what makes this app so trusted for me and for others that use it, we're so dedicated to this, like that we're so like immersed in just personalizing our actual lives, using this app in our system in life, that I just don't think a lot of us have considered getting into comparisons of other apps once we get so immersed into this. This is just really cool, and you can integrate it with your Google Calendar. See my previous episode on Google Calendar integration, and really Google and Apple Calendar integration, just integrating with your calendars, reminders, and just what you can do and what advantages you can take by just integrating everything in your life, pasting everything into Structured, while still keeping the other apps and system that you feel comfortable with, so that you're, and pen and paper, so that you are keeping what you are good with, what you are, what comforts you versus what you are comfortable with, because something that is comforting is something that is intuitive for you, not necessarily that it's comfortable to you. So there's a difference, and we're going to definitely go over that in future episodes. But there are people that showing up for is important. So time blocking for their benefit helps. Time blocking for my own benefit to make sure that I am taken care of helps. It is a huge benefit to manage time, but I don't consider it time block. It's more like time design, life design, just using time as one element along with energy. I am tracking energy on things that I do and life and everything else. So that's just kind of completing this series right now until next time on this series, because we have a lot more deep things to cover. I am using Structured Daily Planner. It is the planner I've dreamed of since I've seen what a notebook looks like, and I've seen family using planners and notebooks and things like that. This is what I've dreamed of. More than what I've dreamed of, but like I've always kind of wanted something like this. And so you can also use it on the computer, in case I didn't say that. I know I've said you can use it iOS and Android, but you can also use it on anywhere on the web and on the computer. So Chrome has a Chrome extension for browser and Chrome computer, which I'm happy about because I have a Chrome computer. And we all find ourselves time to time going on the web on different devices. And so it's really important to have this. So taking the planner, integrating it everywhere, and working within life can really help. And life design system, using this planner as the checkpoint for your lifetime system, your life design system, is going to work out really well for you. This planner is, when you flip open, it's the beginning. You go deeper into your system, and you have your conversational AI, you have your note taking, your communication, all the things, and it all really fits together. You have your things that you do cleaning wise and movement within the cleaning that you do. It really feels accomplished when you clean and you're doing it in your unique way. And that's part of your system as well. So really cool stuff here. I'm excited to conclude this on a positive note about time. My allergies are kind of making it a little bit difficult to talk today. I apologize. Yeah, the time element of managing what you can control and not trying to manage other people is really important in this. And just the fact that you can time design within your frame of the day and get into integrating life in this way, and what you know you could really start off on the right track with your week doing. And if it changes, it changes. If you clear it, you clear it. If you add it to the inbox, you can then, even if you save information to your note taking in your notes system, or in your notes part of the system even, it's still there, it's still relevant, but you're not managing everything with time. And that's one thing we really have to understand with time blocking. I think there was a lot of influencers who jumped on the time blocking bandwagon before we were ahead in our technology. Benjamin Franklin started out actually writing and doing time blocking in the way that we've used our Google calendars to do this. And obviously without the digital benefits. But this is where this planner takes everything to modern, backwards compatible. And it's very fascinating to me to see, it's like I have this in my life, in my hand every day, in my purse every day, in my pocket every day, just even wearing my phone kind of around my neck with a lanyard, or, the different ways I'm using my phone, or even just remembering what I wrote down, even if I don't have my phone on me. That's really powerful that you can do, a really powerful technique. and tracking the memories you have that were really cool that you want to keep in the planner on the exact date, in the exact context of the day is really special and part of journaling and tracking. And it's just really cool that you can do it and how custom it is. So I'm ending this series at this point, and I'm kind of doing this to conclude things. I'll be updating the podcast when the podcast updates, when everything is kind of updating a little bit, because I'm one of the reasons why I've started posting more on YouTube and integrating my channel more is because there's different ways to communicate with you guys about different parts of my life that I can share better on YouTube, and in different ways that you guys might like to see what I'm up to. Reading, watching, quick check-ins, whatever your take, you can interpret things in your own personal way more on YouTube with different context. Video is really powerful that way. And one of the reasons I started posting too is because the podcast doesn't even keep up with what I want to share, but it does give me patience to hold space when we go pretty deep into discussion, which I can then take all the deep work and post on YouTube. So they kind of work together, but they're not always in sync linearly, but they are in sync in sort of a multifaceted. So there you go. There it is. Same with TikTok and Facebook and everything. It's all in sync. It's really cool how it all works together. Different interpretations you get with what I'm sharing and wanting to integrate. And just like my experience, I don't want to use the word teaching because I'm not like a professional teacher. I'm a professional tech worker, but that's a little bit different because I'm not teaching in that context. And what in fact is happening is I'm just sharing my experience and my perspective and wanting to just be connected with you guys. I think is really cool in that way, just because it's kind of what we have to be social, and it's part of the neighborhood, the town, the city that we live in, the town that we live in, whatever we're in, the village maybe we find ourselves living in, the household we find ourselves in that we've created, hopefully, or that we at least find ourselves living in and integrating in, regardless of what's going on, but being aware of that. And so it's kind of why I still want to connect with you guys. And I didn't realize that I'd want to share more and experience more in this way, but I'm okay with it and really cool. So just kind of an update on life at this point and time design. It's not so much a forced time blocking. It is just a time design of what my day could look like in a practical sense. What is a practical day where I'm following up on promises I make to people and I'm not flighty or flaky with them. And, I think we need to take a little bit more accountability to being that way. And I have not been perfect on that by any means, but I just think that creators, we get into this thing of like, don't be afraid to say no. And I think that that's true in ways where your intuition is telling you that's not safe to be around that person or to do that thing. But in the context of simply being social or formatting yourself to enjoy a person's company more, or formatting yourself to make that decision if you enjoy that person's company more, in person, virtual, hybrid, whatever, is going to be the factor that helps you to understand where you're at in life. And so by doing that, it's not so much that you have to say no to everything. You just might have to tweak things. And I think that's where we get stuck in, just say no. Don't be afraid to say no. Yes. In an intuitive, this doesn't feel right in my gut sense. Yes. Say the fuck no. I do it all the time to keep safe, take my own responsibility for that. But when it comes to, simply just sharing and being social and all of that, I'm starting to realize that actually tweaking things to everybody's benefit, putting myself and my needs in a place of understanding is benefiting all of us as a collective. And that's what you can think about when you think of these things, because then you're understanding yourself more, but yet you're judging people less. It's really interesting how that happens, because now I feel a lot more like useful to people, like I can breathe around people, but yet I'm thinking about myself and my own needs and not being phony about it. At the same time, I'm able to express to people, if we communicate in this other way, I can benefit you in our relationship more than this other requirement that may have been a thing in the past. From even myself, where sometimes you hold yourself to a high enough standard in a relationship where they don't require you to actually communicate in that space. You just think they require that when they really don't. They might understand your tweak. They might be grateful that you can give more in that tweak than staying stuck and doing something that you think they are forcing on you, but they're not. And this even goes for like spouse, best friends. I'm experiencing this benefit as I'm really, really getting involved in my team and family and things like that, and my closest chosen family in my own way, that actually tweaking is the thing that is going to help you in that way. And when you are around the right people, you don't feel terrible about tweaking. You don't feel like it's unapproachable. You don't feel like the other person is hiding themselves all the time. You don't feel as if they are showing half-ass up for you and fully for other people. You don't feel that they are showing part of your life, part of their own life to you. We all have multifacets in life, but nobody wants in relationships to be where you only get the part of my life where I benefit, but these other people, because I'm in a survival mode, they get the full benefits of me because I have to survive and I fear them, kind of a bullshit thing. Where you actually, if you just tweak with everybody, and then on the rare occasion, it could be a family member, it could be a parent if you're in that situation, it could be a close friend, it could be, anybody that you've realized just did not at all have your best interest and does not feel safe to you. That is where you realize, okay, there might be a rare occasion in your life. It's going to be difficult, but there might be a couple of rare occasions where that happens. And I don't want to sugarcoat that. And I don't think that's smart to sugarcoat that, because we have different experiences. Sometimes you can't, boundaries aren't enough. And some people are not safe to have boundaries with because they will not accept your boundaries. They want everything for themselves, and your life is their resource. And so it's okay on the rare. You don't have to do it most of the time, and that's what we need to understand. Most of the time, you can have boundaries. People are safe. But you're going to wake up as an adult one day and realize that the people you know the most are probably like one or two of them out of, or even three or four of them, or you might even find a few of them or a group of them are the ones that really have not been the safest in your whole life. And they're not accepting your boundaries. Your life is their survival. Your life is their resource. Whereas actually, if you come to terms with that, then you'll realize most people who want to be in your life will accept your boundaries, will accept and you'll start to understand that because you want to be close to them and you respect them and you love them and you don't want to lose them, you'll start to realize why you should accept their boundaries as well. And that's what I've had to understand, and just accept people's life for who they are and actually embrace it by embracing parts of myself, parts of your own shadow self that you were afraid to embrace before. And by embracing parts of your shadow self, parts of your past that you were afraid to embrace before, you'll realize that you're more alike than you think you were, and you don't have to judge them because you're not judging yourself. That's why people say the less you judge yourself, the less you'll judge other people, because parts of yourself relate to people, and that's very scary. And the word relative is not blood bound. Like, there are people that they would say, oh, that's your relative, but you don't relate worth shit with them. They don't give you enough value to relate to you. That's not a relative. That is somebody you grew up with in your life that may happen to be, have the same bloodline, but that's not relative to you anymore. So this is not just a planner series episode. So I'm going to just make this about life design and understanding. I think that's really important for this. So I hope that this helps you to get some things. I know that sometimes life and seasons are really difficult for a lot of us. And spring tends to go in a very slow direction for me into busy. And sometimes that means busy managing health, busy recovering from allergies, busy from being active and doing everything that needs to be done, taking, adulting into that. But then, spring can be spring cleaning and busy and all the things, but there's a part of spring where you've got to slow down and smell the roses and make sure that everybody's good, that you are good, all the things. So hope that this helps you to reflect a little bit as you're listening to this episode. Your mind is going to wander a little bit. That's actually a natural part of listening. I tried for years to collaborate with people and my mind would wander, and I thought that it was a bad thing, and I would punish myself and rewind the work or ask them to repeat themselves because I thought that I was being a bad listener. Actually, sometimes your mind wanders because it's looking for what you relate to in this instance. And so your mind might wander into your life experiences as you listen to what I'm saying to you and what I'm sharing with you. And by understanding, your mind's going to wander to your own memories or your own experience. That is how you're relating. And sometimes if it's wandering into something completely different, then you may not relate. And so you have to be able to discern why your mind might wander. That's important, actually, as you're listening and watching somebody. I want to make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons, that you relate to what I'm saying, that this aligns with your values, because if it doesn't, you might be here looking for a purchase, looking for a sale, which that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here because I love doing this, and I could sell something. It doesn't mean I never would. I've bought things from creators. I absolutely love it for the right price, of course. I mean, we got to be mindful of that to a point. Or the right context and understanding of that. And by doing that, that's cool. But I'm working in different services, tech related, interface related, programming related, things like that I'm working with, consultation related, in different communication styles that are different than what we might have grown up with. And so that is where I come to the term that I'm starting to, in my analyzation of all of this, learning interface, learning prompt engineering, and all the things I'm learning, like how I know I relate to somebody that I watch and listen to. And that can be pretty powerful. It's not from a moral standpoint necessarily, it's from a value standpoint, which is much more connected and strong than morals. And so if there's one value and somebody is talking about parenting or family relating or anything that is not aligned with my values, I'm out, because it's not so much that I judge their parenting, it's that they might have a value of parenting or family that is like, fuck this area of parenting. I'm not involved in this area. And I'm saying that's not a value I have. I might not be a perfect parent or a perfect family member, but this is about the entire team and the entire spectrum of life. This is not about custom building. This is about custom designing, which includes the big picture. And a lot of times when you're watching someone or listening to someone, you forget to see the big picture and you watch them for years and you get into rabbit holes with them. And it's all about, it's not that it's bad to design your life. It's bad that yourself is always at the center with everybody working around you. That's a value I don't have. And when I see somebody continuously have experiences that are supposed to grow them, I find, am I going to relate to their growth process, or do I grow differently? And it could even be that I grow slower in certain areas that they do because my values are a little bit different and I'd rather just grow slower. So, discern this and anything that you listen to and watch. See where it fits you. And sometimes you'd rather just be doing something else. Sometimes you'd rather just be working on the computer or cleaning or doing something that you need to be doing. And that's where it's more important to understand what is relevant to you at this point, too. So I hope that this helps. I'm going to figure out how to output this because I want to know what is going to connect us in this time here that I'm enjoying sharing with you of insight and reflection. So hopefully this will make sense the more we really integrate into life. Take care of yourself, take care of life, take care of each other, and keep integrating your life. Thanks so much for being here. Take care.